if there's something worth talking about in the season, we'll come back. Maybe Allen's first start, maybe we'll come back for that. So we'll see week 2. No, I'm kidding.
Well, welcome to yet another Buffalo Bills pregame show following a historic game, the worst loss in franchise history to not Tom Brady ever. I think the biggest takeaway from the whole weekend might have been that how as much as New England has cheated, stealing signals, deflating balls, like any way they can cheat, they have not managed to beat us worse than we did this past week only one time.
Yeah.
Like I feel like they should have done it more. But the second worst defeat in franchise history ever, the Bills suffered at their hands, and Peterman got benched.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Not us.
If you haven't heard already, Jared Allen's already been named the starter for the week. Big news. We will get to that in a minute. Believe me, we will. But first, let's talk about quarterback is not the only thing that went wrong on Sunday. Like, what the hell happened against the Ravens?
Everything went wrong, which led to us putting in Josh Allen as the starter. Offensive line can't block for the pass or for the run. Our wide receivers were dropping balls that were thrown right at him. Sometimes Peterman actually did hit him, and they didn't help him out there. Defense can't stop the run. Defense can't stop the pass. Punter fumbled the ball when he tried to punt, and I think we missed a kick. So yeah, that pretty much covers every level of the game. So, and that's what I think we all got to keep in mind. And don't worry, I will get into Peterman in just a few minutes here, but the team lost this game on every single level.
Peterman might have put up the worst numbers in as a quarterback in NFL history, though. Do you think a lot of the team's failure comes from the lack of leadership from the quarterback position? Do you think that precipitates down?
I do, because as we've seen with Aaron Rodgers this past weekend going in on one leg, or Jimmy Garoppolo last season, a quarterback can change the entire team without anything else changing. Just that mentality, just that, just bringing that leadership to the position. And clearly Peterman doesn't have it. He wasn't named captain for a reason. So yes, it definitely starts with Peterman. He is now the new Billy Joe Hobert. He is the worst quarterback I think the franchise may ever have in its existence.
The NFL might ever have. It might be the worst quarterback performance.
Could be, yeah. I mean, Peterman is so bad that nobody in Western New York is ever going to name their kid Peter or Nathan again. It's over. It's done. He's brought shame to both names in general. That's how bad this is.
I think this is a point that I want to make here, is that this might mean that Sean McDermott is no longer allowed to evaluate quarterback talent. Based on him inserting Nathan Peterman last season when we had a winning record. Yeah, I know Tyrod wasn't doing great, but if he really thought Peterman was ready to take over and be better based on what information, I do not know.
Well, I'll go into that for a second. I mean, when you watched the preseason, when you watched the practices, I still stand by what I said last week. The logical decision was Peterman. You can't take a guy who went, 33 for 41 with 3 touchdowns and only 1 pick that bounced off a shoulder of another player, and say, no, we can't put him in the game. He's not good enough. You can't, when you have the best guy doing the best performances, you can't just say, no, can't do it. We got to put the
But he's very clearly not good enough.
Well, now we know that for sure, but I mean, I don't know how else he could have evaluated it. I mean, if you have an idea, let me know, because how else are you going to evaluate it if he's doing good on every single level, not just preseason games, but against first string, second string, third string, practice. I mean, practice it was all kind of even. But, I mean, what else were you going to do?
I don't know. It just makes me wonder about McDermott's ability to evaluate quarterbacks at all.
I believe that, I mean, what they should have done in the offseason is not taken McCarron. I mean, they should have been more on that. It was only a couple of days, and they didn't. Everybody got to their other players before that. Teddy Bridgewater went to the Jets, basically as assurance so the Bills didn't take him because they ended up trading him away. So, yeah, that's what they needed to do.
So how bad was Peter? McDermott's judgment aside.
No, like I just said, he was worse. I mean, his numbers, what was it, 5 for 18, 24 yards, 2 picks, 0 rating. Yeah, I mean, absolutely garbage in every way. And yes, the team did not help, but you can just watch it. You know. You don't have to be told, oh, this guy's bad, look at the statistics. No. You watch his staring down receivers and not giving any real, what's the word I'm looking for, like indication that he has the knowledge to play the position. I mean, it's as bad as it's technically by the numbers worse than last year. It's bad, and yeah, that's where we are now. We're left with the decision to put Josh Allen in.
And Josh Allen was put in. McDermott had the press conference today. I'm surprised it came this early in the week, just knowing how McDermott operates, thinking he might get a competitive advantage or whatever. I had predicted earlier in the week that if they were going to put Peterman in, that they were going to do it right away, and if they were going to him and haw on it, that Allen would end up being the starter, and that's the way it ends up being. But Allen comes with his own set of concerns. What do we have? What did Peterman bring to the table that Allen doesn't like? What do we need to be concerned about now?
Right.
That Allen's the starter.
I want to emphasize the word "now" here because I think people will overreact to what I'm going to say. Currently, now, based on everything we've seen now, Allen is still worse. First of all, Peterman just won the competition a couple weeks ago. This wasn't months ago. This wasn't a season ago. This was just a couple weeks ago. Allen's numbers in the preseason were not good. Like, let's review them for a second. Allen, in his start, or actually no, let's review the game first. In the game we just saw, when Allen went in, he was 6 of 15, 74 yards, 40% completion, with a rating of 56. That's not good. He was also sacked 3 times and only threw the ball like once past 20 yards. I mean, and then you look at the entire preseason, 24 for 44 with, 2 touchdowns, not bad there. But that's a combination of 3 games and just a little bit over 50%. And in the game where he started, the Cincy game, 6 of 12, 34 yards, no touchdowns, 0 points. Okay, so the exact same thing that happened in the Ravens game. So for everybody who thinks that Allen's going to go in and be the guy, he's not. Okay, and if he is, I will happily say I'm wrong. Like immediately, I'll preach from the highest mountaintops that I'm wrong. All right, but I mean, no evidence right now suggests in any level that Allen is better than Peterman currently. That might change with experience. But right now, no.
Well, it would seem that if Allen gets hurt, Peterman is not really a viable option either. So the team probably needs to start looking into some other directions. What are some other possibilities at this point?
See,
for a backup quarterback,
there's a reason we took McCarron, because McCarron was kind of that top 6 options available during the start of the preseason. Because you knew every other option was not really a starter. The only starter option is Kaepernick, and I don't want a starter option, and we discussed this a little off camera. I don't want somebody who's going to come in and possibly people are calling for him to start over Allen after, let's say, week 3, because this is the way things are going. It's like, no. Here's what we're signing up for, guys. Josh Allen is playing this week. That means Josh Allen needs to play the whole season this year, whole season next year, regardless of what happens. Week 7th overall pick, 4-year contract.
Plus what we gave up to get there. So we need to invest the time and make sure that we give this kid every opportunity to play. Now, this is why I wanted to wait. This is why I wanted Peterman to play as long as possible, because I didn't want to put him in a position where we would start saying, let's get another quarterback. But now we put ourselves in that position. So I don't want Kaepernick because I don't want him to compete with that. Like if you bring in somebody like a Matt Moore or I see even Ryan Mallett's almost too good to think about. But Matt Moore is a career backup, and I think he'd be comfortable in that role. Sanchez, I think, is getting used to that too. I don't think anybody's going to be calling to give Sanchez a contract. E.J. Manuel, why not? E.J. Manuel almost beat the Patriots his first start. I don't see Allen coming close to that on Sunday. There's a lot of Buffalo fans with E.J. jerseys still that are so happy right now.
And that's where things have gone. You texted me during the game, because a little behind the scenes here, he'll always text me like, Vince Young, put Vince Young in. And you did that during the game, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I would take Vince Young right now. That's how bad things are over both quarterbacks. So to answer your question, yeah, I mean, I want them to bring in somebody that's going to accept that I'm here to support the kid and be the backup and only go in if there's an injury. Not bench Allen for new guy who doesn't know the offense. That's something else we got to consider. Peterman knows the offense. New guy's not going to know the offense.
Yeah, 3 or 4 weeks out. Even though they signed someone today, you're talking week 5 or 6 before they could even be a viable backup option.
Right.
So there is a game this week.
Yep.
Allen will be the starter. Do we have any chance at all?
No, and we'll get to the picks later. But, I mean, I think what we should do in the game, and this is going to be hard with the line being so bad, but last year, remember the Chargers had one of the worst rushing defenses, so you got to give it to LeSean a lot, and I think that's good for Allen as well if you don't put it all on his shoulders. But Brian Daboll's offense is really set up for the pass, if you haven't known. There was a lot of pass attempts by both a decent amount by both quarterbacks in the game. So I think there needs be a lot more rushing with LeSean, and got to get Clay involved in the game too. You're missing your 2 best players, but like the problem's good. I think the line's going to screw up the rushing though, and I think we're going to be back to what we were last week to be 100%.
So what aspect of the game do you anticipate seeing the most improvement from? Like, is the defense going to be as bad? We're facing a much better offense. Is the offensive line going to be any better?
I think we might convert.
Could be much worse.
I think we'll convert a few more third downs because of the crowd noise.
There you go.
That's it.
All right. Go Bills Mafia.
Yeah.
So do you have a pick for the game?
I do.
Do you not want to share it?
I don't really want to share it, but we're here for you, so here we are. I mean, what? Chargers scored 54 last week. Now, okay, I was going to say this before, and I didn't say it. Peterman throws a lot of interceptions. Allen so far has not done that. But the one thing that Allen does, and Rob Johnson for him, is takes a ton of sacks. He took 3 in the 1 half he played on last Sunday. So that's something to keep in mind too. That I think we're going to see a lot of sacks this game, guys, even though Bosa's not in. But to get back to what you were asking me, the score, I'm going to say 44-6. I think they're going to score a lot more points on us again. Maybe not too many turnovers, but like the defense wasn't stopping anything. They haven't proved they can stop the pass. They haven't proved they can stop the run. So what's stopping them from scoring 44, even without the turnovers? I don't think we'll turn it over, but we're not driving either because Allen's going to get sacked. So 44-6 sounds about right. I hate it. I hate it. You have no idea how much I hate saying it, but that's where we're at right now.
I'm the optimistic one. Who would have thought? But I was going to say 33-13. So
that's optimistic. Wow.
Come out of the 2 of us.
Yeah.
One of our viewers, Jeff Hayes,
yes.
had a question, and I think it's important right now after you've given that kind of tip. How do you feel? Like, are you okay?
I'm okay. No, it's funny. A little personal story. Like my stepfather was like, I was so nice to you. I didn't message you during the game, and I was like, you know what? It would have been fine because it was so bad. It was hilarious. You know what I mean? If it was anybody else in that mode, I was just like, this is so horrible. It was just something you had to almost laugh at. And I wasn't surprised either. Were you really surprised this happened?
No, I mean...
I'm surprised we're here right now talking about Allen, but I was not surprised that Peterman...
laid an egg.
Yeah. How about you?
I was numbed most of the time, just shocked. I don't know. I guess I was a little surprised.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't expect it to be I didn't think Peterman was going to be great, but I was walking around asking people well, how good would Peterman have to play to become to continue being the starter? Like what's the threshold for him to keep this job? And just laughing at myself, did I even wasted a moment of anyone's life thinking about an answer to that question?
Yeah. But you were really surprised when they threw in Allen when you texted.
Oh yeah, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I mean. But I also thought that he's tying his hands, and I guess that's kind of how he felt. But I didn't think that he'd be willing to admit after week 1 that, oh man, I was wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. And
so, I don't know when we're going to be back, though.
I'm really afraid to make a joke this time, because I'm afraid we'll have to do it. So I will, because if I say something, it will happen now. So I say we will be back at some point before the season ends. I think that's the best way to
We got a whole bunch of views on this one. If we have more than 1,000 views next week, I'll find a way.
Okay, and I did want to say thanks to everybody who tuned into last week's video. As at this point, it probably was the most commented, most loved video by you, the fans. So I really do appreciate it, and whatever you like, let us know what it was. We'll keep doing it.
We're here for you.
Yes.
All right, see you next time.
All right. Sign Andy Dalton.